Alright, so we are back today for version number 4 of the Single Crochet Cluster Stitch. You're going to find that this one makes a very nice dense fabric as opposed to the 3 previous ones that we've looked at. I will remind you that there were 4 versions that I found for you. Remember that a single crochet cluster stitch has various names. One of them is single crochets 2 together and single crochet decrease. So whichever version you like to call this, it is simply the taking of 2 single crochets and combining them into one. And as we've looked at in the last 3 weeks, it's where we place our hook that makes the single crochet cluster just a little bit different. Now this one has a little bit of a unique twist to it. We are still going to be working with 2 single crochets, bringing them together, but as I said, it's not only the placement of the hook, but it's what we do in creating this new variation of the stitch. So if you're ready to see this 4th variation, grab yourself some yarn, a 3-weight or a 4-weight, and of course your favorite hook that goes with the yarn that you will be working with, and we will get started here in just a moment. Alright, so I am going to be working with this little bit of yarn that I had left from a skein of I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, and yes, I do love the yarn. It is a 4-weight acrylic yarn. I believe the color is light sage. I do love sage a lot, so I do have quite a bit of it in my yarn stash. I didn't pull the yarn band on it, and I am sorry. But I like using my yarn scraps for my tutorials, so this is the one I pulled for you. I will also be working with one of my Streamline Furls hooks. This is a size I or 5.5 millimeter. This is one of their Streamline metal hooks. As I said, it is the gold tone. There is a link to Furls down in the description box. It is my affiliate link, so if you like purchasing products from Furls either for yourself or as gifts, especially at this time of the year because folks, they have some awesome sales going on. Plus they've just released some new hooks. So if you're looking for something a little special, click on that link down there, and it doesn't cost you anything to use the link, but it does give me a few extra pennies from each purchase, and that's what I use to supply my giveaways and things like that. So as I said, if you love shopping Furls, click on that link and it'll take you right there to them. Alrighty, so for this 4th variation of the single crochet cluster stitch, we're going to make a slip knot however you like to do it. I know there's different ways of putting a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain an even number of chains. So I'm going to chain 20 today. 2, oh, I say I'm going to chain 20, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now we're going to start with a row of single crochets, and I am going to start by working in the 2nd chain from my hook. Now remember, we don't count this loop on our hook. That's our working yarn, so we don't count it. So here's the 1st chain, here's the 2nd chain. You can either choose to work your single crochet into the chain itself, or as I'm going to do, you can rotate your chain over and work in this back bump. I call it the 3rd loop, but most of you are familiar with the term back bump. So that's where I'm going to be putting my 1st single crochet. And as y'all know, I like doing this because I just think it gives a cleaner edge to my project, whatever it might be. So as I said, we're just going to work a single crochet. You go into your loop, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, and just finish off. Since I chained 20 chains and I'm starting working in that second chain from the hook, I will end up with 19 stitches because we use that first chain like our turning chain. Now I will tell you that working in this back bump can be a little trying, especially if you're like me and you didn't pay attention to the tension of your chains, but that's okay. And I always like to stress that at the beginning, make sure your chains are all the same size, that they stay consistent. And when you're putting your single crochets or whatever your first stitch happens to be back into your chain, that you pay attention to your tension. Because I used to tell my students when I was teaching them English and especially writing essays and such, your first statement and your last statement is what people remember. And I think that's true in anything that we do craft-wise. The beginning and the end is what people tend to investigate the most because they want to know, how did you start it? So see, we've got some nice consistent stitches here. And yes, working a single crochet into that each one of those chains right off the bat is going to make your row curl a little bit, but if you'll just take and run your hand along the back side of it, it will stabilize it to work in. And I will also admit that sometimes trying to find that back bump in that very first chain we made may be difficult, so I just go ahead and work in it regular. Alright, so we have 19 stitches. We're going to chain one and turn our work, and we're going to work a single crochet right back into this first stitch. Now each row is going to begin and end with a single crochet. So now we start the repeat pattern for this fourth version of the single crochet cluster stitch. As I like to repeat, many of you may consider this to be 2 single crochets together or a single crochet decrease, but I don't look at it that way in particular for this variation, because although we are in essence taking 2 single crochets and putting them together, there's a little bit of a twist that happens here. So let's get started. We're going to go right back in to this stitch that we just worked and pull up a loop. We're going to go into the very next stitch and pull up a loop. We're going to go, let me just back it up because I forgot a very important step that makes this one a little bit different. We're going to go into that very first stitch and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over first and then go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. I have 4 loops on my hook here. Now here's where the stitch varies a little bit. If you thought adding that little loop before we went into that was a little different, well, this one will really be different. We're going to take this loop that we just pulled up and we're going to pull it through all 3 loops and lock her down. Isn't that cool? Let's do that again. We're going to go right back into this stitch and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and now go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Then we're going to grab this loop and pull it through all 3 loops when I get it hooked right. All 3 loops and lock it down. Again, we're going to go into the stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, go into that next stitch and pull up a loop. Then we're going to grab this loop and pull it through all of those loops. Look at how pretty that is. Very nice indent stitch. It makes a cute little beaded pattern over here on the back side, which we'll look at here when we get to the end of the row. So I'm just going to continue going into the stitch I just worked, yarn over, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. I'm going to grab that loop and I'm going to pull it through all 3 loops that are left. Again, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, grab that last loop and pull it through all three. And that's all we're doing all the way down the row. Now I tend to twist it a little bit backwards, but just know that when you get ready to grab that last loop, now we're not yarning over to pull through, we're just taking that last loop and pulling it through all three that are left. It may get hung as you're pulling it through, so you just have to work through it with it a little bit. Pull up a loop, yarn over. Got to check my tension here, it got a little loose there. Go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then I'm going to take and pull it from the back. It seems to be easier for me to pull them through there, and it doesn't seem to catch on those loops. Go in and pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next one, pull up a loop. And this especially works better if you're working with yarn that tends to split. As I said, just kind of twist it backwards and it works really well. I am sorry, but the last few days I have thought each morning that I was going to wake up and not have a voice. Just continuing through. As I said, this makes a really nice dense fabric. Great for trivets, pot holders, dish towels, baby blankets. Can't you just see working with a a 6 weight and a large hook? I can see a baby blanket out of this coming together very quickly. Now as we come down here to the end of our row, as I said, we're going to end our row with a single crochet because we started the row with a single crochet. There was my last single crochet cluster stitch. We're just going to work one single crochet in this last stitch. I'm going to take just a minute to show you. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? It looks just like a single crochet cluster. I mean, from this back side, I do see a little twist there, but look at the magic here on the back side. Isn't that pretty? I think that is a very, very pretty stitch. Now, on the next row, we're going to start and end exactly the same. We're going to chain one, turn our work, start the row with a single crochet, and do our little stitch pattern repeat. Go back into that stitch we just worked and pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, grab that last loop, pull it through, and there we go. And we just continue on. Very nice, easy little stitch to work. And once you get enough practice in, you've got a nice little rhythm going. I think that caught on a stitch. Let me redo that one. And like I said, I mean, you noticed it right there. Sometimes it's going to catch on your loops. All you have to do is back it out, bring it through again. It is getting hung on. Who are we hanging on? Right there. I'll just twist it back this way. There we go. So go into that, back into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next one, pull up a loop. There we go. And I'm just going to continue doing this stitch all the way down. And I apologize for Lacey and her howling there. So So if you're working along with me, I'm going to allow you to continue working by yourself. I'm going to jump off camera here for just a few minutes, and I'm going to make us up a swatch so that we can sit and talk about it. And then we will compare it to the other 3 versions that we've been looking at these past several weeks of the name Single Crochet Cluster Stitch, but oh, the variations we've been able to look at. So as I said, I'll be back with you here in just a moment. Alright, so I have done 6 rows of the Single Crochet Stitch version number 4, and as you can see when we compare it to the others here in just a moment, that it has a totally different texture and look. Let me get my camera to, there we go. As I said, it's a very squishy, dense fabric. It looks the same on both sides. It is very stretchy, folks. Look at that. I really like this one. I think this one and version number 3 are my top 2 favorites of the 4 different variations. So let's take a moment and look at the 4. Now the one that I did originally, as you saw in the beginning, was a red swatch. This one here I worked with you in the green. So let's go and look at the 4 swatches side by side. Alright, now as you can see, here are 4 variations of the Single Crochet Cluster Stitch. Of course, as I told you in the beginning, I did the red one. Yes, I did the red one in the very beginning. So when we look at these, if you look at the different patterns, look at number 1 here. This is just your simple 2 single crochets brought together with a chain 1 to make up for the single crochet that we combined with the first one. So this one has a chain that's added to it. Now this second one, it also is 2 single crochets brought together and with a chain, but it's where we placed the hook. So just like in the 4th one, we started with the chain, with the stitch that we had just worked into, picked up the next stitch, brought them together, and still to make up for our spacing, to make sure we have the correct number of stitches, we had to use a chain. Now this next one, remember, I really liked the 3rd one because I love the little pearl effect that it gives. Now this is just simply taking 2 single crochets, putting them together, working them without the chain space in there. So it looks, all of these look the same on front and back. And then like I said, I like this one because, like I said, it just gives that really pretty little pearl effect. And then we come up with our last one that, as you saw as we were putting it together, the beautiful texture that it creates. And like I said, I think number 4 is my favorite simply because of the texture that it gives. Now all of these would look good in any garment that you would like to make. All of these would make great different techniques for using if you wanted to make any of your kitchen items, bathroom items, baby blankets. Even I see these in nice sweaters, in great scarves or hats to break up the pattern of what you're doing. So like I said, I think all 4 of these would be really, really good alternatives if you're looking for a simple stitch to just kind of, you know, a no-brainer, so to speak. And what I mean by that is just something that you can work up and start playing with and just basically go on autopilot and listen to a book or watch a television program. But each of these, although they all carry the same name, Single Crochet Cluster Stitch, or Single Crochet 2 together, Single Crochet Decrease, it does not matter. They each have their own unique way of coming together, combining 2 single crochets and making a unique design. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series. There will be a link down in the description box for you for these other 3 videos. As always, thank you for being here, and I will catch you on the next video uplink. Bye.